how do I uncover any changes in product sales trends in my company? So the answer to that question, you want to have a great information coming in so you can have great information coming out. Hopefully you have software like accounting software. QuickBooks can do this, for example. When QuickBooks, of the three major packages, which are QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, and Xero, QuickBooks Desktop is the best one for product and inventory reporting. And what you can do is make sure you have your purchases and your sales using the feature of QuickBooks that's called items. Don't just record deposits in QuickBooks. Use QuickBooks for the full inventory. So you have your purchases, your sales. If you do any manufacturing, then you're purchasing your raw materials. Use inventory assembly items. So you'll need Premiere to convert raw materials into finished goods, sell off those finished goods. Then when you run some reports, some sales reports from QuickBooks, my favorite thing to do is not to run the summary reports, but if you need something more, you can run your sales detail report, push it into Excel, and then use a pivot table. And you might want to use what's called the data model. And we're not going to go into the details of it now, but I want you to know what's possible. If you export your sales detail ledger out to Excel, and also from QuickBooks to Excel, you export, let's say, your item list along with some attributes of your items, like which are item type A and which are item type B. And separately, you export another list, maybe with characteristics of your customers. If you're using the customer type field, for example, in QuickBooks, maybe it's referral source, maybe it's the state that they're in, or maybe it's the type of service or the type of matter that's been handled. If you have each customer in your QuickBooks file with those kinds of tags, you can export a report of your list of customers and their tags. And the coolest thing is when you transform each of these in Excel into a table with 3 clicks, turn them into a table, and you can import them into what's called the data model, which I can show you one-on-one, and we can do a little screen share. I can help you set that up. And then you can run a pivot table showing, essentially having your aha moment with like a graph of trends that you just can't get from just rows and rows of data. Just show me a picture, please. That's how our brains were built. You know, our brains we can produce lots of details, but we don't generally like to take in details. We like the aha moment. Oh, I get it. The picture speaking 1,000 words, you may have heard that before. We like to look at it and get it. And a pivot table based on the data model, you can use it to make a pivot chart. And I know I've been throwing out a lot of Excel vocabulary here, but with that chart, that's where you get your trends. And if you use slicers on your chart, you can go click, I only want to see the trends for product A. Click, I only want to see the trends for product B. You don't even have to do any fancy macro programming or separate reports and exports. Forget it. Click, product A trends. Click, product B trends. It's awesome. Or you can set it up by customer. Click, I want to see these trends for product A, but only for the customers in customer type Q or customer type R. Once it's set up in the data model, you get it in a single click. Hey, Paula! A fine bookkeeper hailing from the great state of Michigan. So glad you can make it. We were just talking about the data model, which last night I was working on one. It totally beat my butt, but I figured it out. The numbers were coming through as text for some reason, and I figured it out. I went and changed the name of a column header, and Excel didn't know what to do with that. I told Excel that it changed. All right, Jamie had a victory over the data model. So that's my answer to you. Set up the data in QuickBooks so you have clear data coming through about your inventory items, about your customers. Push it out to Excel, make tables, put them in the data model, and get yourself a line graph. There you will see your trends. There you'll have your aha moments. You'll be able to give kudos throughout your company where kudos are due. And you'll be able to say, uh-oh, let's fix that. Instead of uh-oh, something's wrong, but I don't know what. I'm gonna stew and get an ulcer. That's a bad thing. Let's go for clarity instead.